Evolving digital landscape. For your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emmanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Nick Jain, and we're going to dig into product innovation and product management, and who knows what else. Nick is a professional CEO who has successfully turned around and grown businesses in logistics, apparel, and tech, and is successful in managing all aspects of operations, finance, sales, marketing, and strategy. He is currently the CEO of IdeaScale, and we're going to dig into what that is right now. Nick, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for having me, Emmanuel. Really excited to be here today. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to our conversation, and thank you very much for your time. I'm grateful to you for that. Talk to me a little bit about how you've created a structure and how you're helping people with IdeaScale to conceptualize and manage innovation in their businesses.
Sure. So IdeaScale is the largest innovation software company on the planet. You can think of our software as a social media network for ideas. So in TikTok, you put funny dance videos. On IdeaScale, you put ideas for new products, ideas for new marketing campaigns, for new mascots, and your employees, your customers vote those ideas up and down. Best ideas rise to the top. And those are the ideas that get in front of the executive team and get turned into actual projects for your organization. We've been around 15 years. Customers include like Pfizer, Comcast, U.S. Post Office, U.S. Coast Guard, companies all over the world, every sector. We are excited to do that for our product category, and we're really good at it.
That's awesome. I'd love to see your internal use of the software too.
Can I? So one of my colleagues loves to say, you know that old saying, eating your own cooking.
Yeah.
She says, drinking your own champagne. And We do drink our own champagne. We use our software in-house, and I'll give two fun examples. One, we used it to select our company mascot. We asked anyone. I was in Japan, and they all have mascots. I was like, we should have one. Let's go get ideas from everywhere. Yeah. And an employee from South Africa, super dog, basically superhero dog, was selected as our mascot. On a more continuing serious basis, we are constantly looking for ideas for how we can make our product better, either because something is kind of ugly or because there's a new feature we need or a fundamental new product. And so we collect ideas from our customers, our employees, and all these ideas are being voted up and down dynamically. And the best of those ideas are taken by our product team and put into our product. And this is happening real time, continuously. So if you put an idea in there today at ideas.ideascale.com, today, it may be exciting or it may not catch fire, but a year from now, for whatever reason, it could catch fire, rise to the top, and that's the idea we're going to go build.
Wow. Now, I love that because the old product roadmap where you're like talking to sales rep and you're like, hey, I really want this thing. It'll really help us. And it usually goes nowhere. So
yeah, it's that joke, people vote with their feet. How about people vote with their votes?
Right. I love it. Well, that's amazing. What are you seeing in terms of either adopting AI into the platform, or how's this AI revolution that we've seen in the last 2 or 3 years? How's that affecting what you're doing at
Sure. So we were aggressive adopters of AI pretty much from day one. Within weeks of ChatGPT coming out, I fired up and while having a beer, had it redo our entire social media accounts. So we are aggressive adopters of AI in two levels. One is internally for our operations. We use it on marketing, for sales email. I was having an M&A conversation with a competitor CEO, and I wargamed that exercise using Gemini.
Nice.
Our engineers use a GitHub Copilot for coding. So we are aggressive adopters of AI for all our internal operations, which both makes us faster, but also improves quality.
Sure.
On the technology side itself, where like the actual product we're making, we've adopted AI in 3 ways. Number one, we have an AI tool that it's pretty simple. It basically just rewords your idea in a better, more eloquent way. So if you're writing it in a language that's not your native tongue, or maybe you're just not a great writer, it helps you make your idea sound awesome. It gets rid of the written equivalent of stage fright.
Right.
The second piece, which is coming out, where it's been publicly announced, but it'll be publicly unveiled as the new product in January. And this is an AI tool that takes all of your idea data and analyzes it. If you think about it, like analyzing numbers is easy. You add, subtract, multiply, divide, whatever, right? Analyzing ideas is really difficult because ideas are qualitative. How do you compare an idea for a new product to an idea to open up an office in Uganda? Those are fundamentally two different things. It's hard for anything that's not a human being to do it, but now AI can do that. So that's coming out in January. And then thirdly is my personal pet project. And it was actually something I suggested on Idea Scale's platform for a year ago. No one liked it. And then finally it caught fire about 3 months ago. And I was able to convince the company we should do this. It's called Idea Seed. And this is an AI that actually looks at your organization and says, here's the company, or here's the organization, here's the goals, here's the constraints you operate under. Maybe you're a government agency with a finite budget or with a new administration coming in. Let the AI come up with ideas for what is great for your organization. So AI, not just co-piloting, but AI generated ideas, which is a new frontier in creativity.
Wow. So you're actually asking the AI to help you innovate what your offers are at that level.
You don't even have to ask. The cool thing is the AI, the way we built this, and again, it's pre-alpha right now for this Idea Seed feature. Yeah. It looks at, you tell it about your organization, like with the day you're setting it up, and then it keeps track of everything that's going on, context such as new government administration coming into play in January, whatever, 10th. And based on that context, it suggests ideas that are relevant for you, for your organization. It'll post instead of a user Nick Jain posting an idea, Idea Seed posts an idea and says, hey, here's an idea that we think is good for you.
There are a lot of business consultants that are very worried right now.
They should be. Like we are going to be coming up. We've historically done very good at helping you collect ideas and sort through ideas. Yeah. Now we're going to be generating ideas for you that are like hyper specific to your organization's problems and the resources you operate under.
And then those are going to get upvoted or downvoted the same way an employee.
Yeah, we're going to leave the voting to be a human control element. So the voting will still done by humans. Yeah. But it's kind of cool that now human ideas are competing against AI ideas. Because really, if you're a CEO of an organization, you don't care about where the idea came from, whether it came from a junior sales rep in Japan to a senior engineer in India to your CFO in France. You care about what the best ideas are. And the idea could come from an AI. You don't care. It could come from your daughter. It's all good.
Yeah. No, that's a very innovative application for AI. That's cool. And you came up with it. That's even better.
Well, to be clear, I came up with it and everyone hated it for a year. We're like, right. It's even though I'm the CEO, I try not to just force things through because I want to receive the feedback of employees, customers, frontline, the front line. Sure. And initially there was just this fear that, hey, we don't want AI giving ideas. That takes away the human element. But then over time, our customers especially have realized what they value is the value of the idea itself, right? And they don't really care. If you're willing to accept an idea from your daughter, why are you not willing to accept it from your 6-year-old daughter? Which, by the way, one of the products that we use in-house was suggested by a South African employee's daughter about 3 weeks ago.
I love it.
And if we're willing to do that, why do we have anything against an AI suggesting ideas? And it turns out that cultural revolution is happening in the workforce where people are becoming comfortable with AI, not just to do repetitive tasks, but also to make decisions.
Interesting. Make decisions. That's interesting. I think a lot of us are using it as a junior executive or a staff member, and we're bouncing ideas, but actually making decisions is a different level of trust.
Well, AI in some ways has been making decisions for us for decades, right? When you try and check something up on Amazon and it thinks you're a fraud, that is an AI saying, Emmanuel, we think you're a fraud, or we're protecting your credit card because it looks like someone is buying a washer and dryer in France and it looks like you've never done that. That's AI. That was an AI making a decision. What is different now is the AI, what's changed over the last year or two is the AI that is making a decision is making a decision that is communicable in a natural language. Like the AI can talk to you in English, whereas the AI before that was happening in Amazon security check was some complex computer AI, algorithm AI that you couldn't talk to unless you knew code. And that's kind of really cool, right? Like you don't need to code to talk to an AI now.
No, that is. I think I call it making it retail level, right? We all have the ability to interact with these tools. Well, you mentioned that you redid some of your marketing on a Chat GPT episode over a beer. What are you doing? Fast forward now with your marketing for your company.
Sure. So AI is an integral part of our marketing process at 3 levels. Number 1, at the strategic level, it helps us figure out what our priorities should be, given the strengths and weaknesses of what we're doing right, the resource we have available to us. Number 2, it helps us do kind of the base planning analytics. So we've laid out a marketing plan and jointly with AI. Now it says, okay, now we ask it, okay, how many people do we need? What skills do they have? How does that map against the activities we want to plan? So if I want to run 2 live events, 10 webinars, put out 20 white papers, have social media, put out 100 videos, whatever it is, how many people do I need to do that? Yeah. And where should I hire them? Where's the best talent pool for video editors? Is it in Utah? Is it in Mexico? Is it in France? I don't know, but like it can do it for me. That research and planning element. Gotcha. And then third is the content production element, right? Not surprising, we've used it a lot for social media. We've used it in helping white papers. We've used it in SEO optimization. But some of the new frontiers where we're using it are number 1 in video generation, number 2 in podcast generation. So we started releasing a few podcasts. We took some white papers that were really dense, meaty material that like no one wants to read a 20-page white paper. The content was amazing. The research underlying it was amazing, but no one reads 20 pages in 2024. So we turned it into we used Google's Notebook LM tool to turn it into a podcast.
Nice.
And so now you can go listen to a 8-minute podcast of 2 people speaking in natural human language back and forth while driving, instead of reading a 20-page paper, white paper. So that's a new frontier for AI. And then the final new frontier for us at least, is we are exploring AI BDRs, which are basically either BDRs or SDRs that are going out, and you can either make this as part of the opening end of your funnel sales process, or as part of the educational portion of your marketing process, that are going in there and educating the market of your product and services.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I think 2025 is going to be the year of these AI agents, I think, for a lot of us, right? Like we've gotten sophisticated enough now where we can train these things. Yeah. So are you using an outside vendor for that, or are you building those internally?
So for the podcast thing, we're just using Google's tool Notebook LM, although I'm looking a couple outsourced vendors. It's funny that you said building internally versus looking externally. So this is a conversation I literally had with my chairman on Friday night at like 8 or 9 p.m. at night. I said, okay, I've started using some of these external services. Most of them kind of suck and they're really expensive.
Right.
I spec'd it out myself and I said, hey, can I just build this, in-house? I can build it cheaper in-house because the tech is not super complicated. And I think I'm a better product designer I think we as IdeaScale are better product designers. We've been running a company rather than a bunch of random startups trying to do this.
Sure.
So we actually are having that debate in-house. Should we just build it ourselves? Yeah. The benefit is obviously way cheaper and we can build it to our needs. The downside is a well-run commercial piece of software will actually be really good and better than us running kind of a side project in-house. So we haven't quite figured that out, but that's certainly a board level discussion we're actively having right now.
And it may be a good spinoff for you guys if you create something that's very functional.
Our founder does run he's actually a serial entrepreneur. IdeaScale was, I think, the 3rd or 4th company he's founded. He still runs his main company and he spins off a bunch over time. Yeah. So that is kind of certainly the benefit of why I suggested it to him, because I realized that it would be a great part of his customer experience family.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like you say, there's a lot of startups that are doing it. Nobody's really doing it that well yet, but this year there'll be some leaders for us, I think, in that space. What is your daily use case look like for AI tools? What are you focused on?
Sure. So I use AI personally in kind of 3 levels. I'll start with a personal level. I use it to help have a better relationship with my wife. And that can be something as silly as researching gifts to, I was going to say wargaming. Wargaming is the wrong word for your spouse. Planning on how I can better engage with my wife in complex situations. We're thinking about, okay, how do we, manage, we have an upcoming child. How do we think about, raising that child. My style is going to be a little bit different. How do I compromise rather than have to give up my style of parenting entirely?
Love it. Yep.
So that's number one, like wargaming or negotiating against the AI version of my wife, right? Personal purposes.
Yeah.
I've also used it to help design a better poker strategy. Number two is in analysis, right? As CEO, I'm I'm flooded with information. I use AI to parse through all of that information. And number three is I use it particularly in communication. So everyone nowadays is writing, marketing content and copy with AI. I actually use it for personalizing is the wrong word. I will write an email manually, but then I will ask an AI to make sure that I'm communicating in a specific tone to achieve a specific business goal, because I may be in a very, tense negotiation. I'm pissed off. That's going to show in my writing. Right. That doesn't, even though it makes me feel good to write in a pissed off tone that, hey, you're an idiot. Like, that's not actually helping me achieve my business goal. And so the AI will help me to, I will tell the AI my goal, reword, this email I wrote with this content, but try, word it in a way that is better to achieve this business goal that I'm trying. And again, I'm not doing that in a mass spammy, like marketing email way, but rather when I'm writing a serious conversation with, a major customer or a potential acquisition target, or then it is important for me to make sure I focus on achieving the business goal rather than, make myself feel good.
I like it. That's the sign that you're a professional.
Writing is certainly cathartic, right? Writing a nasty email where I'm pissed off, where the person is being irrational, makes you feel good, but it doesn't help you create value for your customers, for your employees, for your shareholders. So, you get it out on paper, get all the emotion out, but then do the real work.
Love it. Talk to me a little bit more about how you're using it to parse these big bits of information, and how are you prompting it for that?
Sure. So there's two levels. Number one, for quantitative information. So I'm a mathematician. I can code. I can use R, Python, all those things. But writing code actually takes a hell of a lot of time. So for quantitative data, I will just have AI write all the code for me. I know I have this giant pile of data. I know what I would do if I had a data write the code to analyze it.
Yeah.
I just tell it, do this. And then in a minute or two, it'll write the code that would have taken me 12 hours to write and debug and fix the errors. And it'll print out pretty graphs that'll help me figure out what the right decision is. Because once I see the graph, it's like, okay, this is right, this is wrong, or this is the trend. The second is on parsing qualitative information. And this is, again, kind of like what this new feature that's coming out for us in January. I'm inundated with qualitative information today, requests, different strategies, proposals from our employees, our hiring plans. First of all, dump it all into one place. I've plugged basically a dumb version of Gemini into all these information. I've connected it to my Slack. I've connected to my email. It ingests all of that information and basically makes a daily work plan for me. Gotcha. It says, Nick, here's all the information you got. Here's the 10 things you need to do based on the priority you need to do them. And here's some of the stuff that you can outsource to someone else. It says, hey, these 4 tasks you can hand off to your head of sales because he's responsible for this. Yeah. And you shouldn't have to do it. But these are the 4 things everyone is counting on you for, and this is the order in which you should do them. Okay.
Wow. That's a sophisticated use of the technology. I love it. Well, that's a lot. I think it's neat and fun to talk to somebody who has embraced this at such a deep level. And I think that you and the company are beacons for how to integrate and leverage the tools. So that's impressive. I think the other thing I want to know is just how you're dealing with the security of it and keeping proprietary information proprietary, but still interacting with the LLMs.
Sure. So I'll describe 3 levels of security that we apply for different use cases. So if we're using it for marketing stuff, that is something that is not proprietary. There, people are using the free versions of ChatGPT or Gemini or Anthropic. Employees can use whatever they want. We don't restrict it for the non-proprietary data, for our non-proprietary data, things that we don't think are sensitive, like writing a marketing copy is not particularly sensitive. That can be used. Right. Second is anything that involves proprietary data, especially customer data. Yeah. So every customer has their own security requirements. For that, we're using the paid commercial versions of these AI tools that make sure the data is not used for training, is not sent anywhere. And that's for customers that are okay with data leaving our boundary, but going to like a Google or OpenAI, because that's what the OpenAI license or Google licenses say. Again, customers have to approve that because they have to be comfortable data is leaving the IdeaScale technical boundary and going to Google's technical or data center boundary. Sure. The third level is for customers that, for various reasons, they never want data to leave IdeaScale's boundary ever, right? Sure. And for that, we're using open source AI models. So one of the most famous is called Llama, which is made by Meta or Facebook, but it's open source. So what you can do is you can literally pull the code off of the internet, dump it onto a server, and run it entirely in-house. In fact, you could run it on your basement. If you have a big computer in your basement, you can run it there. So customers can send you data, you can analyze it there, and you can send it back to the customers without ever taking it externally. And so that's the third level of data privacy that we use for customers that don't want us using outside data vendors or analytics vendors.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that's interesting. And then on the ones that are partitioned like that, this open source idea, how do you keep that LLM fresh or current?
Sure. So every once in a while, like there's a new version of Llama that comes out, you just download it and upgrade it. It's an hour-long process. Now you can do that daily if you really want it. In practice, it's not. There's very, the cadence for a meaningful refresh of these models happens roughly once every month or so. So, and it's an hour, half an hour long process. So very easy. It's as simple as like download, upgrade, restart your server. You're back to it.
And so you have an internal company document that you created about the policies and procedures for how to leverage.
Yeah, this third version is only, for the most part, most of our, we've been using commercial vendors, but we are, for some of those new AI features that I was talking about, where we're dealing with extremely sensitive data, that's where we're moving into this open source inside our garden walls. So we haven't fully written out the procedures, but that's okay because we haven't even deployed it yet for another like 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. All right. Well, Nick, I appreciate your time, and it's been enlightening for me. And thanks for sharing what you guys are doing.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. It's been wonderful to have the opportunity to be here.
And how do people get in touch with you if they want to talk to you about IdeaScale or AI in general?
Sure. 2 ways. Number one, for IdeaScale's website is ideascale.com. You can see it on the background. Our software, by the way, is completely free for teams or organizations less than 100 people. So whether you're a single entrepreneur or a 99-person company at a billion-dollar company, you can go use our software for free. I encourage people to do that. Number two is if you want to get in touch with me personally, best ways through LinkedIn. My name is Nick Jain. It's at the bottom of the screen there. I respond to 100% of messages, so people should feel free to DM me.
All right. Well, I love your energy. I love your professionalism. And thanks for sharing some time with me today.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
All right. You enjoy it.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emmanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.